A stocks and shares ISA is the most powerful tool in your investing arsenal, yet most people, one, don't use it, two, don't know how to make the most out of it, and three, know how to avoid the pitfalls, including legislation. So in this video, we're going to go over every single piece of what I just mentioned so that by the end of it, you are completely comfortable to get started using a stocks and shares ISA in the UK. So first off, obviously, what is a stocks and shares ISA? It is a tool that allows you to invest into the stock market and avoid any of the implications in terms of tax, dividend, capital gains allowance, all of that sort of nasty stuff. So at the moment, as of right now, 2025, you can put up to £20,000 per year into a stocks and shares ISA, and everything that goes in and grows is within its own little wrapper of tax protection, meaning that you don't need to fill in a self-assessment. You can take it out whenever you want. It can grow to whatever it may be, and you will pay no tax on it whatsoever. You can invest into index funds, ETFs, individual businesses, and it is important right from the off to get your investments right. So we'll cover that shortly as well. So there's a number of different ISAs in the UK. You've got a stocks and shares ISA, you've got a cash ISA, you've got a LISA, lifetime ISA, and you've got an innovative finance ISA, which I probably would avoid. And it is a combined allowance. So you can put up to £20,000 across those products, so long as you don't exceed £20,000 across those products. So you could have £10,000 in a cash ISA, £10,000 in a stocks and shares ISA. The only difference is the lifetime ISA, where the max you can put in is £4,000. So you could put £4,000 into a lifetime ISA, you could put £16,000 into a stocks and shares ISA, aka the total is £20,000. Now, most people are not going to be in a position to be able to invest as much as that, because that works out at about £1,666 per month, and that's a hell of a lot of money considering in the UK the average salary is around £37,000 at the moment. So what's changed in 2025? So first of all, you can open as many stocks and shares ISAs as you like. So you could have 10 if you want, but you just need to make sure that you don't exceed the £20,000 allowance, and that's on you to do. So if you did have 10, you could put £2,000 into each one. You can't put any more than that in, and it is your responsibility to manage that. HMRC won't tell you when you've gone over, but if they find out you have, there could be penalties associated. So this is a relatively new initiative, and for me, really, I like to just use one. I use Trading 2 and 2. Now, if you did want to, what it is good for is if you didn't know which provider you liked and you wanted to experiment with a few, you could do exactly that. You could put a few £100 into each one, play around with it for a few months, and then work out which one you like, and then use that one as your main one. Equally, if you just like using multiple ISAs, you can do that as well now. Partial transfers are now allowed as well, as of last year. So that means that you can transfer in your portfolios from other brokers, and you need to make sure that the broker that you decide to use allows this, because not all of them do. At the end of each financial year, you don't then need to reapply for your ISA. So for example, if you open an ISA, a stocks and shares ISA with Trading 2 and 2, you are fortunate enough to be in a position where you could deposit £20,000 over the course of a financial year. Come the 6th of April next year, the new financial year, it'll just reset. It will tell you what your allowance is for the year. You don't need to reapply. You don't need to open a new account. Equally, if you go over £20,000 in terms of your investments, that doesn't matter either. So if you put £20,000 in and you've picked Nvidia as of a few years ago, and it increases 300% over the course of a year, and you end up with £60,000 in there, that's okay, because it has grown by that amount. The only limit is the deposits that you put in. £20,000 as a deposit. Anything it grows to is irrelevant. Some platforms now also offer flexible ISAs. This means that you can put money in and out as you like. So you could put £10,000 in. That would then mean you have £10,000 less of your allowance, £20,000 total. However, if you put £10,000 in and take £5,000 out, historically, that would mean that you could still only put £10,000 in. Now, if you use a flexible ISA, you are then allowed to put the remaining £15,000 back in. So that's the £5,000 you took out and the £10,000 on top to reach that £20,000 allowance. Again, make sure that your provider allows this. So why are stocks and shares ISAs so powerful? Let's have a look at an example. If you had invested in 2005, £300 per month, and you invested it into a global index, and after inflation, a very conservative 6% return, as of April 2025, you will have deposited £72,000. However, your pot would now be worth £139,000. You've nearly doubled your money. And that 6% is inflation adjusted. Then at that point, that £139,000 will be completely tax-free. You could withdraw it all in one go if you liked. Now, I know that the money that you've put in to your stocks and shares ISA is going to be liable to income tax. So it is money that comes after you've paid your income tax. So in certain circumstances, actually in the majority of circumstances, it is a very good idea to take advantage of a private pension as well if you have access to it, because that is pre-tax. You can put the money in pre-tax. So it's a very good idea to have a pension and a stocks and shares ISA. So the pension is going to allow you to put the pre-tax money in, of course, and that's going to grow at a certain rate. And it's always important to check what your pension is invested into, because it could significantly underperform the market if it's in a default fund. However, for most people, you're not going to be able to access that money until you're 57 years old. So if you want to retire or reach financial independence, or you are investing for a certain thing to buy a house, you're doing it long term, and you want to access that money before 57, like I do, I want to be done by the time I'm 50, you need to use the stocks and shares ISA as well, because that allows you to take the money out whenever you want with obviously no tax implications. You don't even need to fill in the self-assessment. So which providers to consider? So there's loads of providers now that offer stocks and shares ISAs. The first thing you need to do is make sure that they're FSCS protected, they're covered by the Financial Conduct Authority, they're reputable brokers. You need to check the fees, because that can really eat into your returns. I started with Hargreaves Lansdown, for example, and the fees on that were 0.45%, which are significant. They don't sound like a lot, but compounded over time in their own right, those fees are going to eat into your gains, and you're going to be giving a hell of a lot of money away. Vanguard historically were the biggest, the best, the most famous provider, and they are still a good provider, but they are expensive now. If you hold less than £32,000 within a Vanguard stocks and shares ISA, they're going to charge you £4 a month. And that doesn't sound like a lot, but if you're starting off with 100 quid, that's 4% of your portfolio you're giving away. So look for a broker that has zero platform fees. So Trading 212, the one I use, InvestEngine, I've used as well, XTB, I've used as well. All of them linked in my bio if you want to have a look at them. Also, what sort of investing are you going to do? Are you just going to invest into ETFs, or are you going to want a proportion of your investments to go into individual businesses? Now, don't forget that is much higher risk, and you could significantly get back less than you put in if you do that. You could with ETFs as well. Depends upon what your time horizon is. If you're investing for less than 5 years, there's a potential that you could lose money by investing into ETFs. The longer you do it, the better it is. So lifetime ISAs quickly. If you're under 40 years of age, you can open a lifetime ISA, and they're great because it means you can put forth up to £4,000 per year in, as I said before, but the government will top it up with 25%. So they'll give you an extra £1,000. Now you need to open it before the age of 40, and you can use it for two reasons. One, a house deposit, and two, if it's your first house, and two, you can use it for retirement, but you can only access it when you're 60. Also, there are fees associated with if you take the money out for any other reason associated with that, and that can actually end up costing you more than you put in. But if you're committed to one of those two choices, using it for a house deposit a lot further down the line, or using it for your retirement, then it could be worth having a look at. Things that you can't invest in with stocks and shares ISAs: Bitcoin or any sort of crypto, and non-reporting offshore funds. So it's not for Jimmy Carr, this one. Some common pitfalls to avoid. If you are going to use a stocks and shares ISA, don't just leave your money in cash. I mean, you can do, there are some pretty good rates that are received. So if that's your strategy, that you want to do it, you just want to use the stocks and shares ISA and you want to get the interest rate return on that, that's fine, but you are not going to get the market returns unless you invest it. Don't miss the deadline for investing into a stocks and shares ISA. So it resets on the 6th of April every single year, and you cannot historically go back retrospectively invest on that allowance. You cannot deposit on that allowance. So once the new financial year resets, you lose the previous year's allowance. So you could, if you wanted, put £20,000 in on the 5th of April, put £20,000 in on the 6th of April. But if you didn't put it in before the 6th of April, you lose the previous year's allowance. If you're going to use multiple ISAs, it is very important to keep a track on what you have deposited. As I said before, HMRC are not going to tell you, but they are going to fine you if they find out. Fees, I know I mentioned it before, but I'm going to mention it again. Fees will destroy your returns. They will really have an impact on it. So companies like Hargreaves Lansdown, very expensive. Vanguard, as I said before, very expensive. Plum, very expensive. Any high street bank, very expensive, and limited options as well. So it's massively important that you use a stocks and shares ISA with the least amount of fees possible. And finally, is it a good time to start investing now? Well, my view on that is the best time to start investing was yesterday. The second best time is today. It doesn't matter what the markets are doing. If you are a long-term investor, 10 years plus, you're going to be putting money away on a consistent basis. It is best to avoid the news. It is best to avoid checking it too much. It is best to just start today. And as I said, if you do use any of the links in my bio to any of the stocks and shares ISAs that I have linked, you will get a kickback as a result of doing so. And let's finish on a joke. So today we've got What do you call a dog that's underwater? You can probably guess this one. A subwoofer. Right, if you want to have a look over what my portfolio looks like as of today, here's a link to it here, and thanks for watching.